Hello, I've been riding the new Turismo Veloce 800, MV Agusta's first tourer. It's a machine MV hopes will take customers from the likes of Ducati's Multistrada 1200 and BMW's forthcoming S1000 XR. It uses MV's 798cc 3-cylinder F3 engine, detuned to 110 horsepower and 61 pounds-foot. That's quite a lot down on the Multistrada's 160 horsepower, even if the MV's dry weight is a claimed 18 kilograms less at 191 kilograms. But it only really matters if you're playing top trumps. The harvest of a detuned engine is a broad spread of torque, and that is what the Turismo Veloce delivers. MV says it makes 90% of maximum torque from 3,000 RPM, and I'm convinced the drive pours out from really low down in the range. Optional semi-active suspension is on the way. In the meantime, it's already no place for a technophobe. It's got a hydraulic slipper clutch, a quick shifter, cruise control, Bluetooth connectivity and 8-stage traction control. The ride-by-wire throttle response is as smooth as spilt oil, and with that nice spread of torque, you almost needn't care about what gear you're in. Leave it in third and it makes really easy work of going quickly from one corner to the next. When you do change down, the slipper clutch softens the engine braking that might otherwise lock the rear. There's a good peak to explore with a red line at 11,000 RPM, but it's possibly best enjoyed at around 5,000, just sweeping nicely from one bend to the next. It feels compact and quick to change direction with good levels of grip from the Pirelli Scorpion Trail tyres. The Sachs suspension feels taut and well damped, not allowing too much pitch and roll, but it's compliant enough to go long distances in comfort. This is firmly at the sporty end of the adventure bike spectrum though. I'm not sure I should actually say adventure at all. Refreshingly, MV just called it a tourer in their presentation. Like the Multistrada, it's strayed from the adventure bike brief and it's become instead something brilliant. It's a comfortable sports bike. I'm a fan of the Multistrada, but I suspect the average rider, like me, will be faster on the MV. The Ducati's peak figures are only helpful when I'm using them, and bendy roads reward the smooth riding that's made easy by a generous spread of torque, which is what the MV has. If you've been using a clutch all your life, then it feels a bit weird to suddenly stop and use the quick shifter, but it becomes intuitive very quickly. Without closing the throttle, just hook the next gear and it shifts up with almost no interruption in drive. Downshifts with the throttle closed are just as smooth, so there'll be no helmet bashing with the pillion passenger. I was only using the clutch to pull away, where it felt a bit vague. The biting point is hard to detect, so I found myself over-revving to avoid stalling, but I got a better feel for it as the day went on. Quick shifting down while hard on the brakes occasionally caused a bit of a jolt of forward pitch, as if the ABS and traction control might be confusing each other about what the other was doing. Generally though, the brakes are superb with all the power you could need from the radial mounted 4-pot Brembo calipers at the front. The riding modes are sport, touring and rain, giving a progressively softer throttle response. A fourth, custom mode, lets you choose your own settings for things like maximum RPM, maximum torque and engine braking. With such a smooth throttle response anyway, I was happiest in sport mode. When you do want to change modes, it's easier than on any other bike I've ridden. Press one button until you find the mode you want till it appears on the colour dash, and then wait a couple of seconds for it to actually change. There's no need to close the throttle or anything else like that. There's an adjustable screen, moved up and down using the pinch and slide handle. You can do it with one hand, but the optional sat-nav gets in the way, makes it a little bit awkward. There are also optional panniers, both big enough for a full face helmet, but still narrower than the bike is at the mirrors. That's thanks to that striking tail unit, which is actually a bare aluminium subframe. Starting from 11,899 plus on-the-road charges, a grand less than the cheapest Multistrada, this is the first MV I would actually consider buying with my own money if I had enough. It's the smaller Multistrada that Ducati doesn't currently make. And like the Monster 821 to the Monster 1200, it could be a better, more usable machine for many of us.